everybody, Debbi Starr here. I've had some questions about setting up a website, and if you're not a techie, it might feel overwhelming. Well, I'm calling this your 10-minute website creation. It really does not have to be complicated, and I'm going to walk you through. I'm going to be showing you how to create a website using Go High Level / Funnel Gorgeous. And in this instance, I'm actually using a Funnel Gorgeous template. Now, you could build a website from scratch. You could pretty much any platform that you use, they'll have templates. I also support people on Kartra, and I can do a separate video just for Kartra. But pretty much all of them have a template. I also tell people just take some time and look at other people's websites and find something that you like. And when you do, take a screenshot of it so, you can remember what it looks like. And it really is, once you get into it, you're going to see how easy it is. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to quit rambling. I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, so you should be able to see that. And now I am inside of, and instead of continuing to say Funnel Gorgeous / Go High Level, I'm just going to say now I'm inside of Go High Level. Go High Level is the basic platform that runs all of these. So when you are in here, over to the left is how you navigate things. So we want to go down to sites, which is like halfway down the page. And then up at the top, you'll see something called websites. Now, again, depending on which platform you're using, some of them give you lots of templates. Sometimes you have to ask for a template. But what we're going to do here is we are going to just use a template. Within Funnel Gorgeous, they tell you to clone it or just make a copy of it. And you can purchase templates also. So I always recommend, number one, make a copy. Then, if you mess things up, it's not a big deal. So first thing, when you get ready to build your website, I always like to say, start with the end in mind. In other words, what's the purpose? Now, for people brand new, what's the difference between funnels and websites? Usually funnels have just one objective. Click here to get the opt-in, or click here to learn all about my great program and buy it. A website is a little more encompassing. Most websites have 5 pages. You don't have to have 5 pages, and especially if you're just getting started. And I'm going to talk about those in just a minute. So basically, it's the electronic version of the business card. People want to find out about you, so they're going to go to the website to learn more. All right. So I have a template that I had copied, and I renamed it. I'm calling it the 10-minute website. Now, here we've got 5 pages, and these are pretty standard pages. The home page, the about page, services, testimonial, and contact us. Do you have to have all of these? No. If you're just starting out, just build the home page, and then you can add others later. So if you don't have any testimonials, just leave that one off for right now. Okay. Contact us. Maybe you don't want people to set up an appointment, or maybe you're selling on Etsy or something and there's no reason for people to do that. Then you could leave that page off. All right. So pretty straightforward. Now, the first thing that I recommend is that you get, so we've figured out the end goal. And then I tell people do some window shopping. And what I mean is just look at other people's websites. That will help you figure out your colors. It will help you figure out what is it that you like and dislike. So just pay attention to that and make notes. And then the third step is gather all of your assets. So by an asset, what do I mean by that? Any images that you will be using, any logos, any of your copy, all of that stuff, just gather it together. So just like you're getting ready to bake a homemade cake from scratch, then you probably take everything out of the pantry, have everything ready to go. You've got your tools and your equipment, and then you're good to go. One thing that I like to use is what I call an SEO funnel sheet. So let me see if I can find this. And I will, and if you're watching this, I'm happy to share it with you also. Now, let me see. Can you see this page? Because I opened up a new tab. Yep, perfect. All right. I just call this page SEO details. It's more to it than SEO details, but you're going to see how I use this page in a minute. And pay attention. It is going to save you a lot of time and frustration. And so on this, some things you might be thinking, what is she even talking about here? Page titles, page description, page author. And it's like, I don't even understand why we have to have these things. Pretty much on every page that you create, you're going to have to add this information. Okay. Whenever I create funnels and web pages, I always suggest using some kind of an acronym or a phrase that's consistent across every single page. And in this instance, I'm just going to call it the ABC website. Okay, very original, right? So whatever it is that you're working on, and we're going to tighten up these titles and things more in just a minute. Just going to give us some space here so you can see everything. On the page author, so, my name is short, Debbi Starr. I can just type it. If I put the information in here, I can just cut and paste. So, and sometimes you might want to put your title. You might have initials, like I have an MBA. It just depends on what you want. So I'm a business strategist and coach. Okay. So that is kind of like my full name and author. All right. So we've got a few other things here. Page description, keywords, all of that kind of stuff. I'm going to show you super quick way to get all of this information. But first, let me come back over here to our website. I'm going to drag this over here so I don't lose my place. Okay. And I'm just going to open up that first page or edit. Okay. All right. And as of June 2024, this is how the builder looks. They're constantly redoing things, so depending on when you catch this video, things have, will probably change. If you use a template, here's my suggestion. You might want to change, colors and things like that. Most designers have already figured out what's the best font and all of that kind of stuff, but there might be some things that you need to change. So let's just look at this particular template here. The colors are blue and then this kind of orangey color. Well, I do use blue in my branding, but I definitely don't use this orange color. If going back over to this spreadsheet, I also have a page that just has branding colors, and it's just so much nicer to have all of your colors in one place. Then you don't have to, I mean, maybe you, whoops, I hope I didn't disconnect. Okay. Maybe you have all your brand colors memorized. I don't, so I'm just going to copy these. Okay, so this is my blue, and I'm going to say medium blue. When I'm doing this live, isn't this fun watching me type? All right, and let me do a light blue. That light blue, yep. And let me do pink. Now, once you get your colors set on one page, you're good to go. But as of right now, it doesn't automatically copy it to all of the pages, which is a pain. In the future, they will probably change that, but I have a couple of workarounds for you. So this orange, I'm going to come over here to the right. I'm going to click that orange, and down here, can't find your color, add a custom one. So I'm just going to paste that pink in, and I'm going to add the color. Okay, and so there it is. So now for this page, anyway, this color is here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time, adding a bunch of other colors. You get the idea. Okay. So again, going back to the spreadsheet, when you have this spreadsheet, you can kind of hop back and forth depending on if it's the brand colors you're looking for, or if you're looking for some of this other information, which I'm going to show you why that's so important. Now, I know I said build a website in 10 minutes. Sometimes it takes a lot longer to get all of our stuff out together, or, get it all out on the counter. And then once we start building, it goes pretty quickly. Remember I said, get all of your assets together, all of the images, all of the stuff that you'll use. Then as you start building and modifying, you don't have to hunt and peck around. You've got everything. All right. So in this particular website here, we can see this is a one column section. Here's a second section, and this one has some images, a 3 column. Come down here. This is a 2 column section. This is a 2 column. So as you're looking at it and you hover around, you can see, okay, now I understand how all of this was built. All right. So the very first thing that I do whenever I'm building a website is we have to come up here to the top, and there's something called SEO metadata. And when we open this up, depending on where you have gotten your template from, it may or may not have information in the title, and the title is what's going to show up when people land on it. Okay, so I'm just going to call this 10-minute website. Okay, and it walks us through keep the characters down, unique domain, all of that kind of stuff. Then we have a description. So, and it tells us that we should only have 155 characters for our description. And you could just type this, I could just say Starr Consulting website providing strategic coaching and design services. Okay. I could also, let me open up our good friend, ChatGPT. And I could also ask ChatGPT to help me with the title and help me as I'm building out this website, right? Let me just refresh the page over here. I want to make sure that you're seeing the same page. Okay. So I'm going to ask it to give me a description. So please give me a 155, or no, how many characters was it? Yep, 155 character description for my website called ABC Website, and our target market is coaches and entrepreneurs. And here it is. So I'm just going to copy this. Now, first stop, I'm going to come back over here to this spreadsheet and see up here where it says page description. I'm just going to paste that in because I'm going to use that same description, because you have to do this on every single page unless you copied the whole page. All right. And then in the, I'm going to come back over here on the web page. I'm going to paste that in. And then for keywords, I'm going to come back to ChatGPT and say, please give me keywords separated by comma. And again, because I told it up here who my target market was, it gave me some keywords. Now the keywords, and I'm going to come back here to my spreadsheet and I'm going to paste in the keywords there. Now I'm going to come back to the website and paste the keywords there. Do the keywords make a difference with your SEO search? Possibly. You know, but it's better to put it in there. It's not like you're going to get millions of people finding your page, but it's better to put it in there. Then we come down to author. And again, remember, I could just type my name, or I could come to this spreadsheet and I could just copy the name and title that I want to use. And the nice thing is this is going to help me stay consistent all the way through all of my pages. Then the next thing is the social image. And this is what is the little picture that shows up when somebody lands on your website. Like if you share this in a group or something, and you know, you have that little, I call it the little social media image. Okay. And again, remember I said, get all of your assets together. And what I like to do is I do love, now we have the option of creating folders. So I like to put things in the folders. And let me see, do I have one for my website? Because I'm actually rebuilding it. I don't think I do. So again, I would have uploaded all of those things, and I'm just looking to see if there's, I think I'm just going to use my logo, which is fine since it's my website. And then I'm just going to update my SEO and then come up here to the top right and save it again. And this is some weird little bug because it opens that window again, and then I have to save it. I don't know why the first couple times you have to do that. All right. So basically that's what you have to do. Those steps that we just did, you have to do that on every single page. All right. So if I come up here to the top, see this little icon here that looks like a page. If I click that, now I'm going to go down to the About page. And again, it's a template. So, you know, I would take a minute and kind of look at the template to see how it's built. All right. And if I come over to my colors, let me just find something here. So I'm going to click on that little divider. If I come here over to the right to change that color, notice that color is not there again. So now I have to add my custom one. If I come back to my spreadsheet, just going to grab that color, come back over here, paste it in, and add the color. And then there it is. All right. And now the next thing that I'm going to do is I have to come back up here to the top to the SEO metadata, and I have to do the same thing. Now here it's telling us it's the about page, and I'm just going to say for ABC website. My keywords, I can come back over here to my spreadsheet, copy those keywords. Okay, my author, go back to the spreadsheet. I think you're catching on here. Very good, right? And again, you could use the same social image or you could use a different one. All right, and then there you go. You just continue working. So you have to do that on all of your pages. So depending on how you work, how you like to work, you might want to set up your SEO and bring in your colors on all of your pages first, then go back and start working on your content. Now, when you're building out your website, you might feel overwhelmed because it just looks like there's so much stuff to do. So, do it in little chunks. And is there something that is easier for you? So here's like a testimonial. This might be an easy section for you to do. Okay. Your story. What is that story? That might be easy for you to do. The goal is just keep working through it. Now, other people, they just like to start at the top, work all the way down. All right. So here, if we look at this header, it's kind of hard to see because of the kind of bluish background here. But if I click on the header, you can just barely see that it's purple and it says header, okay? And this header is what we call a global header. So in other words, once it's a global header, and because we're using a template, the header was already, or the global header was already set up. If I make a change on this one, it's going to change it on all 5 of the pages, which is great. So I'm going to hover over the logo and I'm going to come down, and my image is already uploaded. I'm just going to grab my logo, and there it is. I'm going to hit save, and it's warning me because I put this into a global section. It's saying, are you sure you want to do this? Because it's going to show up on every page. And yes, I do. Okay. So it's going to save it. And if I come up here to the top where it says pages, I'm just going to skip down to the about page and see here. You can see how it did update it. So that is one really easy peasy thing. So anything that's in a global saved section, it will make that change on all the, on every single page, right? So I'm going to come back to my pages and come back to home. Hey, Stephanie, glad you joined me. So I'm just kind of rambling on here about building a website, and not to get too overwhelmed, but just kind of keep working along with it. I always say make a copy. And then once you're actually working in it, always make sure that you save often. okay? Because occasionally this system glitches, and, you know, we don't want to have a heart attack when that happens. All right. So I showed you the shortcut on using the SEO data, how by using this spreadsheet over here, that will help you. And then there's a few other things, the social image URL, that is this image right here. I mean, I'm just using my logo, but I'm just going to copy that. And the other advantage of saving things on this spreadsheet is a lot of this information you're going to just keep reusing for every funnel page that you create, if you redo your website, all of that kind of stuff. And quite honestly, half the time I can't even remember what my Instagram handle is. And so I just go to my page all the time and I just copy and paste my Facebook link, my Instagram, LinkedIn, main email, all of that kind of stuff. All right. So it's just a nice little place to keep that information that you're using all the time. All right. Now let me talk about a couple other things with when you're modifying a template here. So in this first section here, we can see that there is a background image. Now, the person that wanted to use this template, she's not into exercise fitness. She probably wants a different background image. So I have that section highlighted. And then if I come over here and we see the image, and then this is the particular image, I'm going to just click here and I'm going to pick another image here. Maybe I'll use this one. Okay. And now you see the background image has changed, but it's like super bright and it's kind of hard to read all of these words. So down here where it says background image opacity, none. If I click that, I could say heavy fade, and it's really kind of faded it out. But because of the template, and what was used before it was almost like they had a gradient design plus the image. So I have a couple of options. If I wanted this, I could change the all the white text and I could change it to black if I wanted. Okay, so let me just, I'm clicking on that headline just to show you. So I'm just going to change it to black, just so you can see. All right. To me, this picture, I don't know, it's still too front and center, and it's kind of taking away. That's my personal opinion here. We also have a background color, so we could add a background color. And now notice it really has pushed it to the back. Maybe I'll lighten it up just a little bit. And so now when we click on the words, now it does make sense that maybe we should change the words back to white, right? So what I'm demonstrating here is it's nice to have templates to use, but if you're not the creator, sometimes it's hard to kind of know the history behind it. And if we look at my logo here, if I used this, I do have a white logo. So in this instance, it would make more sense for me to use the white logo. I don't know if I have it uploaded, so I'm not going to bother to do that. But you get the idea here of what I'm saying. All right. Does that make sense? Anyway, so you can just play around with that. And again, always save. What else do I want to talk about? Each section, when you're building out websites or funnels, think of them as those nesting dolls, okay? And so you start with the section, then within the section you have rows, then within the rows you have columns, and then within that you have different elements that you add to it. So if I look at this top one, and again, we see the green all the way around it. Might be kind of hard for you to see. That's one section. If I come down here to this next one, I see the green, but the section doesn't go out the entire width of the page. And sometimes it's nice to do something like that, just for visual interest. All right. So I'm going to go up here to the top to the eyeball, just so you can see it here. So do you see this section here? What they've done is they've, instead of adding padding, they just have said, don't take up the entire space. All right. So just all I'm doing is helping you understand kind of how to see how these templates were put together. All right. One thing that I do like to do, so this particular section here, and it's talking about what we do. If I come over here to the far right, it just says section. I don't name all of my sections, but I do on some of them, because when you're editing and when you're looking at all of the sections, if you come up here to the layers, if you name your sections, do you see, oh, okay, this is the section that I'm working on. And you can also do things like save and clone those sections, because sometimes you might, especially on a funnel, you know, where what I call the digital stack, the picture of the website, and then, or the picture of the product, and then buy now, and you might see that repeated once or twice. So what you're doing is you're saving that section, and then if you name it, it just makes your life a lot easier, because then you can find it and do something else with it. All right. And sometimes you might want to save a section. So this particular section here is a testimonial section. Results speak for themselves. So I'm going to name that. Okay. Because I could reuse this on another page. I could use it just as it is, or I could put in somebody else's. All right. So I recommend that you name the sections. You don't have to do all of them if you don't want, but it just helps you kind of keep track of things. All right. Is that making sense? Okay. What else do I want to talk about here? In this particular section, again, remember I said, just kind of look to see how people have created this. And so here we have a headline. I hover over it. I see that it's a headline. I hover over this. I see that it's a paragraph. And then if I come down just a hair, I see a 3-column row. And they just use that to add their images. And then if I hover down a little more, I have another 3-column row block. Now, technically, you could have lumped these two things together. But the more little components that you have gives you a little more gradient options, I guess I'll put it that way. So, and again, this is not a section. This is a column within that main section. What I'm going to do just to show you what I mean by that is when I come over here, I'm going to just change the background color. just on this section or just on this area. Okay. So if I wanted the pictures to stand out differently than this, do you see why? By doing it in two different sections, so to speak. All right. Does that make sense? All right. And then I'm going to just click on one of the images. And remember, I said gather all of your stuff together. If you haven't uploaded all of them, you can do them all at once. So I'm over here to the right, upload media. And again, I would put the pictures in a folder by themselves. Excuse me. Then it's easier to find it. And when you go to upload the file, you could upload multiple ones. Okay, so if I create a folder and if I just say website assets, and then I would just open up that folder and then to click upload file. And then I would grab all 20 or 30 images that I'm using and just upload them all at once. Then as you're building out your website, you've got everything at your fingertips. Okay, so I'm just going to change these three images. And it helps if, I'm just pulling things, it helps if your images are all the same size. Now, it's not too bad, I guess, because it's in the middle, but it's throwing things off a little, all right? Do you see how that is? So in real life, I would make sure that I use the same type. This is a portrait image, and these are more landscape images, right? And then here's my first, second, third offerings. I really cannot stand that orange. I'm just going to change it because I can't stand it. Okay. And again, save early, save often. So you can see, I mean, I haven't even added any words here. I've added my logo. I've added a background picture. And then I've started adding some images here. And then you just get busy. And remember, we started out and I opened up ChatGPT. I would do the same thing here. So if you're just starting out, excuse me, just think about what are your top 3 services that you offer. And then I would go to ChatGPT and just ask for a short paragraph. So I'm going to say, please write a short, descriptive paragraph that explains my one-to-one coaching service. They will receive Voxer support, 3 months of weekly coaching, digital templates, and 1 year of all-in-one marketing platform. Okay. Sometimes I think ChatGPT just throws back basically the same thing that you're telling it. You really need to kind of tweak it, play with it a little bit, but it just gives you a good place to start. So, I mean, at this point, I'm not worried about what it's giving me back really, but so I would and I probably would do this work ahead of time so that once I jump in here to actually build, I've got everything and I don't have to, keep going back and forth. Okay. Now, when I look at this, I mean, I just dumped it in. It's pretty long. Here's the key that I keep telling people. Your readers don't read. Okay, so I'm going to say this is too long. Please shorten and highlight the most important words. Make it compelling. Okay, so that looks a little better. I'll copy that and come back over here. Paste that in. And there it goes. That's interesting. When I pasted it, it didn't copy the bold, but that's okay. All right, so you get the idea. So how easy is that? Again, I'm going to save it, and we'll keep moving forward. And you can, depending on what it is that you sell, let me come up here to pages. Remember, I said you don't have to have all of the pages. If you don't have testimonials yet, don't include that. If you don't need people to sign up with you, you don't have to have that. But I'm going to hop over to the services page. And again, remember what I said, first thing right off the bat, you'll need to come up to the SEO metadata. I won't do it, and fill all of that stuff out. But you have everything saved on your spreadsheet, so it's not a big deal. So here, what I would do is on those buttons, I would link it to this page. So here, give a brief description. So I was working on service 3. So this button will say, "3 months VIP coaching." Okay. And then how this page is set up is when I click on this button, it's set up to scroll to element. So it's going to stay on the page. It's just going to go to a particular element, but it says no element has been selected. So here is our first service. Here's our second service. Here's our third service. And again, I'm going to click on this section, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to name it actually, let me call it Service 3 VIP Coaching section. Okay. So I would do that for all of them, but that's the section that it's going to connect to. So if I come back up here, Service 3, and then when it says scroll to element, and again, here's all of the different elements that's on this page. So it's very hard to find those. But when you rename things, it makes it easier. So here it is, Service 3 VIP Coaching. So we'll let this save, and now I'll do a quick preview. So now when I click on Service 3, it takes me right down here. All right? So how cool is that? Does that make sense, what I'm saying? All righty. Let me go back to the home page here. I want to talk just a little bit about, early on, I had said when you hover over something, you can tell if it's what we call a global section because it's purple. I like to name those sections. And so I'm actually going to name this, and sometimes I forget, but it's my global header. Okay, so that's what I've named it. And if I scroll all the way to the bottom on this website, I've actually got 2 footers. So this first footer has like this orange background, so to speak. Okay, so I'm going to name this orange global footer. And then this very, very bottom one, I think it's just called footer links and terms and conditions. And so I'm just going to say global footer links and terms and conditions. Right now, I don't know if you can see it, how the screen is, but now I've got those things saved and I've got them named. And again, so let's say looking at this, I don't use Pinterest and I don't use Twitter. And again, remember I said if you're just starting out and maybe you don't have a full page of testimonials, you could take that out. So I'm just going to take that out for right now. Work with me, it takes you to the services page. Okay. So you could name these however you want, and you're good to go. And again, if you wanted to change the background color, image, all of that kind of stuff, you can do that. Let me show you a little tip also. So again, if you don't build something from scratch, sometimes it's hard to know exactly how they did this. So in this section, this is the image. I'm going to copy that link. I'm going to open a new tab and just paste that in, just so that I can see what that image exactly is. So this particular image is a gradient orange and it's got that little background. And if you like this design, but it's like, well, these aren't my colors, I would just hop over to Canva and I would duplicate. I would create something just like this, basically. And then here, you would just upload your new image. All right. So that's just kind of a sneaky way, I guess, to help you understand how this was built. All right. One other thing that I want to talk about is you can reuse things. And so here, because I've made changes and it's a global section, it's just reminding me it's going to make that change on every single page. Because remember, I took out a couple of these. Maybe, what can I call this? Join our group. Join group. I don't know. I'm trying to find something that's going to fit on one line podcast. Maybe I'll put that. And I have no idea if I have my podcast little image on here. Yeah, I think I do. Well, we'll just put this on. Okay. And then I could actually link to that image actions. So I could open up the URL if I wanted. Okay. So, sorry, I got distracted there. But here, let's say this section, in addition to your website, this is global. So every single page, it's going to make that change. But maybe I want to use this on my funnel pages. Well, I can save this. So I've got this selected. And again, purple means global. It's going to impact every single one of these pages. But then here is a little save icon. I'm going to click that. And I'm just going to call it, and I like to use, I should have done this before. I like to use my initials in front of every asset that I save here. It just makes it easier. So I'm going to say this is detailed footer orange, whatever. Okay. And then it says, do I want to save it as a global? No, because I already have it as a global, but I am going to save it as a template and say save. And again, why do I want to save it as a template? Because when I'm over on the funnel side, the website is like you're in one room. The funnel side, you're in another room. Because I've saved it, I could pull it in and use it someplace else. So as you are building out your web pages, or even your funnel pages, think about those assets or those things that you might use over and over again and save them. Now, this little background here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to copy this into a new tab so I can see what it looks like. Okay, so this is interesting. So this is just a kind of an off-white background. But it will, oh, am I in the wrong one? Somewhere it looked like, maybe I clicked off on it. Anyway, I was going to change the background image and maybe I deleted it accidentally. Okay. So anyway, so we saved the, section, the footer section, and we could use it elsewhere if we wanted. We talked about the individual sections. What else do I need to tell you? I think, on this, I was going to show you how to do this. So remember I said, that I had already saved that. Okay, so let's say this testimonial, I could have swore I saved the testimonial. Oh, maybe it was on another page. I don't know. I don't remember. Okay, let me just change this picture out. So we'll put Liz's picture in here. Okay. So if I want to reuse this either here or elsewhere, I've named my section. And then I'm going to click over here on the left, this little save icon. And I'm going to use my initials, testimonial. And when I click add to, I'm just going to add to a template and then save. Now I'm going to come up here to the top and go to a different page. So I'll go down to the services page. And well, we already have one there, but I'll just throw one in so you can see. So I'm going to, up at the top left, add elements, and I'm going to notice we have sections, rows, elements, and so forth. See here where it says section templates? And then because I named it with an SC, do you see how it's pulling all of the sections that I have saved in other projects? And so here is that one. So I'm just going to click and drag it. And then there it is. Okay. It's already on this page down here. So this is kind of redundant, but you get the idea. All right. So make sure that you pay attention to reusing your assets, so to speak, so that you don't have to keep redoing it. All right. I think the last thing that I want to talk about, doesn't really matter which page we're on, but I'll come back to the home page. And in the very top, in the global heading, if we come down, you'll see that we have a 2-column row because I've got my image here. And then in the first column row, it's the navigational. And so if I come down just a little more, now it shows me it's the navigational menu. So I clicked on that. So that is active. Now, if I come over here to the far right, this is how you can either rename these or hide them, so to speak. Okay. So remember I said, starting out, maybe you don't want a full page of testimonials. So you could click the little pencil to edit, and you could just delete it. So I'm going to delete it. And it says, are you sure? Yes. Okay. And so now it's gone. Okay. If I click on it again, let's see, what else might you want to do? You might want to, I don't know, rearrange things. Maybe I want to put the about after. Okay. So home, work with me, about, book a call. So you just grab these little dots, click and drag them. When you click the pencil, that is how we say, okay, if somebody hits the home, which page do you want it to go to? And I want it to go to the home page. Usually I don't open up a new tab in this instance. So now I'm going to go to work with me. What page do I want? Services page. The about. Book a call. And there you go. So now I'm going to save it. And again, because it was in a global, it's just warning me. So I'm going to save it. And now if I click the little preview. So again, we had rearranged work with me and about. But if I click on the about, takes me to the about page. If I click on home, takes me back home. Right? So you can see that that is working. All right. What else can I tell you? Basically, just kind of start playing around, save early, save often. To publish. So let me talk about that. I'm up here at the very top left. I'm going to go back. So basically I'm stepping back out. And this is where we first got started. Under settings, this is where we connect it to the domain. Now, if you're just getting your account set up, I will help you get the back-end domain set up. I am a domain hoarder. So I probably have like 10 domains connected to my account. And so when I click the drop down, then which domain do I want to use? So maybe I'm going to use the go.star funnels. And then this path here is, you could, I was going to say you could call it home, or you could say whatever you want. Okay. It just has to be different than that first page we created, which I'm going to show you in just a minute. So I'm just going to, and sometimes I purposely at this point put kind of a random name here, just so that I don't hit on it accidentally. Okay, but I've connected it with the domain. Now I'm going to save it. And now here, this home page, it's like describing what this page is. The about page, it's describing it. If I click the little dots and go to settings, this is where, and again, this is probably a different training that I could do to set the funnel or the website at the root. We would do it under settings. Don't worry about that. But notice here, it's got this kind of random number, home dash page, blah, blah, blah. You can only, each page has to have a unique URL. So home page was used someplace else. So that's why it added all of those. Now, website gurus say most people aren't searching for starfunnels.com/home. But you could leave it at home if you wanted, or let's see, what do I want this to be? Star Funnels, Go High Level Master. I'm just making up something, okay? And I'm going to update it. Now, because I've connected the domain up here under settings, if I click here, the little preview, and sometimes it takes it a minute, but up here is where that URL will show up. And I don't know if you can tell at the very top. Okay. And I might be using a funnel. Sometimes I have trouble with one of these domains. I can't remember which one. Anyway, that's how you would do it. And then you're live at that point. All right. Does that make sense? Okay. So what else can I tell you, or what questions? Just let me know in the comments if there's anything in particular that you want me to talk about. But basically, I would just make a copy, then I would just kind of start playing around with it, start adding some of your information here. Always save it. And then just go from there. There's other things connected on this particular website, like an opt-in form. It's always nice to have an opt-in form. Some people have an opt-in form right at the top above the fold is what we call it. Again, when you are looking around at other websites, if there's something particular that you like, then you could add it. And here's the deal. Just because this was a template, doesn't mean that you can't redesign things. Okay. So this particular little section here, get the checklist. I'm going to rename that section. So get the checklist. All right. And then what I could do, I'm really going to be, I'm just going to, when I have this selected, here's another little shortcut, I guess. When I'm playing around with something, I will sometimes make a copy. So when I've got this row, this 2-column row selected, I'm going to click on the little copy. And so now we've got it in here twice. That way, if I totally mess this up, I've still got the original. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, so the little 4 pointed arrows, I'm going to click and drag this. And sometimes the mouse just misbehaves. So come on. Sometimes you have to just talk to it. And sometimes there's other ways of moving it too. Come on, baby. Let me see. All right, let me do it this way because I can't get it to move the way I want. I'm going to select it and then see these little up down arrows. I can move this whole block up. I can also go to the layers, and because which section is this in? Did I name this? I thought I named. Anyway, this, you can see now why it's important to name your different things. If I thought I had named it, but maybe I didn't. But I could also move it that way. So I'm going to just click this. I'm going to click the up arrow. I'm always making sure I'm in the blue because that's what I'm moving. I'm going to click the blue again. And there it is. Let me move it up again. I'm going to move it again. And I realize it's probably it's kind of hard to see, but exactly what I'm doing. And I'm going to change the background color of this just so you can see it a little better, what I'm doing. Maybe if I make it pink. I think I'm going to move it up one more. I'll move it up one more again. Okay, perfect. All right. Let me preview this now so you can see what I've done. Before, this doesn't make sense now to have this background picture, but before we had the one headline and then a little sub headline, and then you continue to scroll down. In this instance, I thought, you know what, I probably would do a headline right here or right here, inviting people to opt in for something as soon as they hit my website. So it's just up to you. Again, the background image doesn't make sense based on how this looks, but you can see how I did that. All right. And then as you scroll down, you can just see the rest. And because I made a copy of this here, this original is still there. So if I had really messed this up, no worries. All right. Does that make sense? And again, you just get in and you just play with things. Let me come back out here for a second. You can also clone the entire page. So I'm working in a joint endeavor with somebody, and so I was giving her two options: one with a video when they first hit the page, or one without the video. So what I did was I just cloned the page, added the video to the one, not the other, so that we could get visually decide. And then whichever one we don't want, we'll just delete that. All right. Okay. So Stephanie says, I have an unrelated question. How do I re-download my videos, etc., from the media back to my own laptop? Oh dear. So that is a great question. And let me just talk about that for a second. I'm going to come down like to this picture, for instance, and I'm going to come over here and go to my media library. So a lot of times people ask, especially if you're using video, should they upload all of the videos on the platform? Personally, I don't like to do that for a couple of reasons. One, it takes extra time. Two, if you move off of a platform, unless you know, I've got some systems to help you keep things organized, but unless you know exactly where all those videos are, sometimes you cannot, depending on the platform, sometimes you cannot download them again. Okay, so here, this particular image, I could get the link to it. I could move it to a folder. I could rename it, or I could delete it. But let's just pretend like it's a video. You know, I can't like grab it. Now, if I had that video playing on a page where I've enabled people to download it, I could right click and download that. All right. There's only one reason that I would upload, like the images, it's not a big deal, but for videos, there's only one reason I would upload a video. We can now put in kind of gates on the video. So if we wanted someone to watch the first 5 minutes and then they had to enter in their password, or if we were tracking how long they watched the video, in those instances, you would need to upload those videos either to this platform or whatever platform you're using. Some third-party video storage units, so to speak, will allow you to do some things like embedding the video. And if you embed the video on the back end, you might be able to pull those analytics. But for the most part, I embed the video or link the video, but I don't upload the video to the platform. It's the same with on the membership side or the course side with Go High Level / Funnel Gorgeous. Personally, the one platform that I use all the time is Loom, Loom, Loom. And I just grab the embed code from there because, again, it's just going to save you a lot of time, and then you don't have that situation. Okay, does that, hopefully that answers the question. You can also get to your media up at the very top here. So over to the left, we're on sites, and then at the very top, media. And then, you open your media and it takes you to the same place. But once they go up there, I haven't found a way to get them back down. I've had people say that they've lost them, because they haven't kept another copy. Again, if that is the issue, depending on, trying to think if I have a video that we could try, but depending on how that video is packaged up, if you allow people when they're watching it to download it, that might be the other option. Okay. All right. What else was I going to say? Just again, within the websites, here you can also look at like the stats. So it will show you how many unique page views, if you have opt-ins, if you're running like a sales page, so to speak, you can track all of that. And then again, the settings, the main settings for the website. One other thing I will mention, under the settings, this is the same for funnels and websites. This is where you can turn your payment into test. So this is a website, so I'm not really selling anything, but if it was a funnel page where somebody was opting in, I could turn it to test and then like test the entire thing just to see how it's working. The chat widget, if I turn that on, that will be for every page within here. Let's see if it, yeah, it's still having trouble with my domain. I need to check that out. Let me do the preview this way. once I've turned the chat on, right here, this is the chat setting. Okay. And again, that's a different training option. But if you want to have the little bubble show up, you can have that. So once people hit your page, this I'm kind of liking just the black and white, just with the sprinkling of colors. Something else that I like to do, I'm going to zoom way out. When I'm building a website, I like to zoom way out and kind of do a quick scroll, because what we're looking for is a variety, and we kind of want, back and forth type, so that your eye doesn't get too fatigued. Okay, so here we've got a nice background. Here we have a white with a 3-column. Here we've got a darker background with a 2-column. Here we have a single column. It does have a background image here. And then here we've got a 2-column with a blue background. Here is actually 3 columns. And then I've got my footer down at the bottom. Okay. So as you're, excuse me, building out your website, just shrink it down like that. And it'll give you that quick little bird's eye view. And that just kind of helps you too, to see if it's going in the way that you want. All right. Anything else? Oh, the most important, I can't believe I almost forgot this. The most important thing that you need to do, let me just get rid of this guy here. Maybe I won't get rid of it. So this is, my header is getting in the way of this little form here. They're basically stacked on top of each other. And what I want to do is delete, get the checklist. So you can come over here, and I'm just going to delete that section or that row. Okay. All right. Probably the thing that's going to drive you the craziest is up here at the top, you have desktop mode and mobile mode. If you're using a template that somebody else designed, you don't really have the history. So remember, I changed out these pictures. Okay. If I come up here to the mobile view, do you see those pictures? So the designer of this particular template, what they did was they created different sections, and one section for mobile view, one section for desktop view. So you're doing all of this work here, and you think it's going to be for both. But then when somebody opens it up on their cell phone, they're seeing all this other stuff, and they're like, what? So you could manually change things here, or, excuse me, you can, how can I explain this? So this 3-column row here is the one where I changed the images. Okay. If you click on the advanced, you'll notice visibility. This is only showing up on the desktop. It is not showing up on the mobile. If I switch to mobile and I click on, let's see if I can find, if I click on that area and go to advanced, well, now see, this is showing that it's showing up on both. Again, you just have to kind of hunt and peck and try to find how did they design this. Because here it's showing that it's showing up both on desktop and mobile, but I don't think that's true. Anyway, just kind of a forewarning. Whenever I build websites, I always focus on the desktop first. Think about that as you're designing it, because then when you preview the mobile, a couple of different things to think about is if you have something that goes like text, picture, picture, text, you know, kind of like a little S, backwards S or something. Think about how does this get read on the mobile, and it may show up differently. It may show up as two pictures back to back instead of picture, text, all right? Probably confusing you by trying to give you these details, but you just need to understand the difference. The other thing is on mobile mode here, this is not necessarily exactly what you're going to see. So the best way is if you go up to your Chrome browser, go to View, come down to Developer, and then Developer Tools. This, and again, this is probably kind of scary looking. This is kind of like the back end of how things look. So up here at the top, just trying to move this out of the way, you can navigate back and forth, and this gives you a little better view of what it truly will look like on the mobile device. Okay, so it's still not perfect. This section looks okay. This section looks okay. But some of these sections don't, right? So I'm just going to close this window. I'm going to come back to my desktop view here. The easiest way to fix things is sometimes you'll have something on the desktop that you don't need to see it on the mobile. So if I go to the mobile, I mean, it's good to have pictures, but let me just see if I can find something. Like this. Let's see. I don't know, like the picture. I mean, you want the picture of you, but you can hide things, okay? So we could say, you know what, we don't want this picture to show up here. Or maybe you don't want the numbers on the mobile, okay? That might be a good thing. So if I click on the 01 and go over here to the right, advanced, now see here, this is showing that this is showing up on the mobile, but not on the desktop. Right? Because on the desktop, it is a little different. So as I'm building out, if it gets too messy, then I will click on whatever it is And then you could decide to turn off. So this particular picture, I've turned off on the mobile. And now if I come over here to the mobile, see that picture is gone. All right. So that's a quick way of kind of fixing things. You can also, and this is a fairly recent update, let's say this line of text, briefly begin to tell your story. Over here to the right, the font size it's showing us is 40 point. If I drop down, notice desktop and mobile. So on the mobile, when I click that, it's 24 point, which makes sense because you don't want something that takes up half their phone. Okay. So this is fairly new, so that makes it a little easier to make the changes on things like that. All right. So you'll just have to play around with, but don't forget to do it, especially if you're using somebody's template. And this particular template, I think, is an older one that Funnel Gorgeous did. As time went on, I think they either added some CSS coding or they tried not to make the template so complicated that it didn't show up the right way on mobile. Okay. All right. What else? Any other questions? I think I covered the key points that I wanted to tell you. And again, if anybody has questions, once you start building it out, just tag me in the group, if you get stuck with something. I do build for people. And of course, all of my DBA members, they get a significant discount if they just want me to build it for them. But reach out, let me know how I can help you. And hopefully this is a good jump start. Again, don't be nervous about it. Make a copy. Once you get into it, start working with it. And, if you want to get really wild and crazy, clone that page and do something completely different and see which one you like. And then you don't have to worry about starting over. All right. So let me come back to wherever I'm at. Come back front and center. Okay. Whew. So that was only an hour and a half. I lied when I said a 10-minute website, but you get the idea. All right. I'm going to hop off unless I see any other questions in here. And as always, just tag me in the group and keep on making progress. All right. Bye.